Hey everybody, welcome back to the Quarter Acre Homestead. Today I'm going to do a quick video showing you how I prune my grapes. You can see our big arbor back there. I'll put in some clips showing you our grapes from last year. This pruning system works really well. So there's two different methods and for pruning grapes. So let's get right into it and I'll show you what we do. Alright, so the thing you have to understand with grapes is that they produce fruit off of new growth that comes off 1 year old growth. So when you prune, if you look at this grape right here, this right here, it's pretty thick and kind of old looking. This is 2-year-old growth. This right here is a new shoot. It went up like 8 feet or something. This new shoot grew last year. So any new growth that comes off of last year's vine right here, that new growth will produce grapes. Anything that comes off of this 2-year-old growth will not produce grapes. So if you prune your grapes incorrectly and you prune off all of last year's growth, you will not get any grapes that year. That can be a big bummer. So there's two methods for pruning. One is to just leave one long piece of last year's growth, run it down your arbor, and let it send off shoots that produce grapes. And that's what I did here last year. So this big one, last year it was a 1-year-old piece, and I just laid it down this board, tied it on, and then these shoots went up. Here you can see a grape that we didn't pick. These shoots went up and produced grapes for us, and that works great. The other method you can use, which I'm going to use on this piece this year, is to just come up on your new growth from last year, about 2 nodes, and prune that off. What that'll do is it'll let these 2 nodes produce 2 shoots that will produce fruit here. And I'll do that on every one along here. So leave 2 nodes, and so on. That way I can still use this structure that I had set up for last year. So you kind of have like a 2-year system that way. So I'm going to go ahead and prune these, tie this up again, and then I'll show you what it looks like. And then we'll go over the second method. One more thing before I start pruning that. If you look up here, that method of pruning I was telling you about is what I did last year on this one. So for example, this right here is 2-year-old growth, and I snipped it off, which allowed a new shoot to come out. Actually, it looks like I've done this 2 years. I forgot. So I did it 1 year, and then the next year, and then this new shoot is what produced fruit last year. So you can see this is getting really thick because I've used it a few years. I'm actually going to cut that one clear off, that big one, because I like them to start growing down here better. That way they can grow all the way up. I do have a roof here, and this one's too close to the roof. The shoots reach the roof real quickly. So I think I'm going to take that one clear off. Alright, so I'll be back when I'm done. So here is the grape, pruned as I described. You can see all of these little sticks sticking up with 2 nodes, and everything else has been cleared out of this area. Alright, so I'm under the main part of our grape arbor. I did a tour last summer of how this looked when all the grapes were hanging down. I'll put a link up in the corner right here and also in the description. So same as I showed you in the previous method, this big one right here was 1 year old last year, and so all these side shoots are last year's growth, and they produced the grapes. We had a ton of grapes down here. So this year what I'm looking for is another just 1 year old that I can run like this one, but it can't be this one because this one's 2 years old. So I actually have one flagged right here, this yellow flag. You can tell that one's a lot smaller. It's 1 year old, and it comes out here, curves around, and I've actually pulled it out and put it down here so I don't accidentally cut it. So it looks like it may reach the whole way, which is what I want. So I'm going to use that, and so I'm just looking around for others like that. And another option I have is to leave some of these big ones, just like I did in the other example, and just leave two nodes on each branch off, and that would work too. So I'm just going to look around and decide what I'm going to do, and then I'll show you what it looks like in the end. Alright, so this is the after video, after I'm done pruning. So you can see a lot less vines up there. So I did both methods. So you can see over here there's a couple single vines from last year's growth that are running all the way down. I did leave one that's 2 years old and just left the little 1 year old stubs for it to grow off of. And then actually here I let one go out that way. And then I have a few more single ones over here. So we should have a lot of grapes hanging down here like we did last year. Alright, so hopefully that was helpful to you as you prune your grapes this year. Remember, basically to sum it up, there's two ways of pruning. One is leaving 1 year old growth for your grapes to grow from this year, and the other way is to leave a 2 year old growth and just snip the 1 year olds with 2 or 3 buds so that they can grow grapes. The key is to remember that grapes grow from new growth off of last year's growth, so 1 year old growth. So if I don't know what variety I have, I got a cutting from my dad, but if you're interested, it's they're purple grapes. They're pretty much seedless, nice and tasty, work good for jelly and such. Also just eating fresh. If you're interested in a cutting, check out our Patreon. You can join there, and get some grape cuttings. I'm going to go ahead and roll some clips in here at the end of the video of our grapes last year. It was really nice just having grapes. Our arbor here is about 7 feet or 8 feet. So it was super nice having the grapes hanging right down here where you could reach them and cut them and pick them. So I'll roll some clips in here at the end. But that's it for today. Thanks for watching. Let me know if you have any questions, and we'll see you on the next video.